morning, students. So today I am going to explain the class 9th next topic, chapter number 3, laws of motion. Students, in this topic the two things are there. First one is contact and non-contact forces. So first of all, let us discuss about the contact forces. Contact force is that force which cause physically, which the force is that physical cause which change either the size or the shape of or the state of rest or of the motion of the body. वो फोर्स जो फिजिकली टच करके जहाँ बॉडी के साइज को चेंज कर दे, शेप को चेंज कर दे, रेस्ट को मोशन में, बॉडी की जो रेस्ट में है उसको मोशन में लेके आ जाए, जो मोशन में है उसको रेस्ट में लेके आ जाए, that type of force is called as contact forces. And next one is a non-contact forces, without physical touch, without physical contact, like gravitation, magnetic force, gravitation, electrostatic force. All these type of forces are non-contact forces. Let us discuss first of all what is the effect of forces. Force can change the state of rest or motion of a body, or it can produce a motion in the body. Suppose you are driving a cycle. If you apply a more force on the pedal, the cycle will move fast. That means produce motion. If you apply a force on the brake, and the cycle will stop. That means rest, body comes on rest. So force can affect on those things. Then if you apply a force on the balloon, the air-filled balloon, then its shape can be changed. If you can apply a force on the book, we can change the book is in a square shape or rectangle shape. We can change it into a circular shape or any other shape. That means it can change the size, shape, then dimensions also. Then students, this note is very important on your book. This note, the force when applied on a rigid object, what changes are there? It does not change the interspace because body is rigid. If it is a rigid सख्त body है, then उसकी interspace change नहीं होगी. Interspace between them constitute particles. Solid particles are very tightly packed. So we cannot change its shape. Therefore, it does not change the dimension. We cannot change the dimension, but we can produce a motion on it. Okay. So this is on the rigid. And another hand, non-rigid body, its shape interspace is more. We can change the shape, we can change the dimension, we can also produce the motion on it. So this is the main question in this chapter only. What is the difference, what happened when we apply the force on a rigid object and non-rigid object? So this note is very important. Kinds of forces, two types are there. One is contact forces, another one is a non-contact forces. As I told you already, then the force which are applied on the body by making the physical contact, जो बॉडी के फिजिकल कॉन्टैक्ट में आगे करती है, उसको कौन सी कहती हैं? कॉन्टैक्ट फोर्सेस. गिव सम एग्जांपल्स ऑफ द कॉन्टैक्ट फोर्सेस. देन you are having a first one is a frictional force. Frictional force means when body slides over a rough surface. You are having a mashers at home. You are mashing the potatoes over it, or any other vegetable over it, and you are applying a force in the downward direction. Then its wings are in the upward directions. So if the book is sliding on the table, then the table will apply the force in the upward direction and book will apply the force in the downward direction. So when a body starts acting on the body direction opposite to the motion, we are applying the force in the downward direction, but the object is applying force in the upward direction. That type of force is a frictional force. Then normal direction force. Keep the any book or any weight on your palm, then your action will be downward side. Force will applied in the downward, but our palm is holding the hand, so our palm is applying the force in the upward direction. So that is the upward direction. Action is downward and reaction is the upward. So this is the normal reaction force. Then second one is a tension force. Tension is very important, students, in the 9th standard. Mostly we are using tension. Tension होता क्या है? खिंचाव, खिंच. Spring, you are just put a weight in the spring. Then from its original length, the force is applied in the downward, and the length of the spring is increased. How much it increased, that is the tension. Okay, so it holds the weight. How much? By increasing the its weight, that is the tension over it. So which balance the weight of the body. The force is developed in the string is called tension. जो force उसने string ने applied किया है, develop किया है, that is called as a tension. Okay, so next one we are having a force exerted by the spring. If we apply the force in the backward direction, from one side the spring is fixed. If we apply the force in the outward direction, then its restoring force is there. Then the space becomes in the rings are more. That means we are applying upward, and if we remove the hand from this point, then it automatically comes to its original position. That means it is a restoring force and it is in the opposite direction. Then if we apply the force in the side of the fixed direction, then the spring will apply the force in the outward direction. Okay, so in the opposite manner, always it applied the force in the opposite direction. Then force exerted during collision. If two bodies collide, one body is at rest and another body, the body which collide over it, its motion stop and it produce the motion in the another body which is on the rest. That is the collision force. Okay, when two bodies are acting at one point. So here the force on the AB and this body is at rest, then what happened? The AB is in the motion. If it collide to AB and this another body, then this body also starts moving. That means B to A. It stop this body. It make this motion of this body less. Then it acquire the sum of the motion from this body. So try to read this topic and understand it. Then next one we are having a non-contact forces. As I told you that what is non-contact, that is the body is without being physical touch. जो body physical touch में नहीं आती, that is called as non-contact forces. The first one we are having a gravitational force. We know that if we throw the body upward, automatically it comes toward the earth. That means how it comes toward the earth, we can say the force due to gravity that makes the body fall when released from a height. So that is the, we are not applying any force, automatically the body is coming toward the earth. That means it is a gravitational force. Second one beta, we are having a electrostatic force. Electrostatic force means to like forces, like charges repel, unlike charges attract each other. The force between the charges is called electrostatic force. Okay, so this we have discussed in the lower classes. Then third one we are having a magnetic force. Magnet that means we are talking about the poles. If we are electrostatic, we are talking about the charge, and here we are talking about the poles. To like pole repel, unlike pole attract each other. So out of these three forces, name the force which is always attractive in nature. Which is always attractive in nature? That is the which is always attractive in nature. My question towards to you. So your answer will, gravitational force is always attractive in nature, while the electrostatic and magnetic force are attractive as well as repulsive. So we can, if we go away from the body, then its motion magnetic separation decrease, and if we comes close to each other, then its magnetic power increase. So try to read this topic and solve it. So students, next we are talking about the Newton's first law of motion and inertia. This topic is very important. First of all, we know that what is linear motion. Linear means straight. The motion which is applied in the straight forward, that is the linear motion. Okay, so from where that motion comes, how this motion comes? To move a cycle, the cyclist has to apply the force on pedal. In the car, petrol is needed to petrol providing the force to move the car. If horse cart, horse applied the force. Then Galileo, the scientists who were of the view that the force is needed only, force ही चाहिए किसके लिए? Only to start a motion, but also to keep an object moving. Object move करता रहे even with the uniform velocity, then the object remain on motion. You know that if we are paddling the cycle, if you stop the paddling, then the cycle still continuously moving for a few distance, cover the some few distance. If you switch off the engine of the car, then still the car is moving still few distance, cover few distance. How? Same as done by the Newton. Newton says that if a body is on the rest, it remain on the rest. If body is on the motion, it remain on the motion unless the force is applied on it. जितनी देर तक फोर्स उसके ऊपर नहीं लगाओगे, बॉडी जो रेस्ट में है वो रेस्ट में ही रहेगी, जो बॉडी मोशन में है वो मोशन में ही रहेगी. ये कौन कहता है? ये न्यूटन ने बोला. देन इनर्शिया के कारण, व्हाट इज इनर्शिया? इफ़ द बॉडी इफ़ सेट इन मोशन, अगर एक बार बॉडी मोशन में सेट होगी, मूव विद द यूनिफॉर्म वेलोसिटी, वो उसी वेलोसिटी में स्पीड और डिस्टेंस में कवर करती जाएगी. इफ़ नो फोर्स एक्ट ऑन इट. देन इफ़ द बॉडी इज़ एट द रेस्ट, बॉडी जो रेस्ट में है वो यूनिफॉर्मली रेस्ट में ही रहेगी अगर अनलेस उसके ऊपर फोर्स ना लगाया जाए. दिस इज़ कॉल्ड एज गैलीलियो लॉ ऑफ इनर्शिया. देन न्यूटन्स का लॉ क्या था? इफ़ ए बॉडी इज़ इन रेस्ट, अगर बॉडी रेस्ट में है, इट विल रिमेन इन द रेस्ट, वो रेस्ट में ही रहेगी. एंड इफ़ द इट इज़ इन द मोशन, अगर वो मोशन में, इट विल रिमेन ऑन द मूविंग इन द सेम डायरेक्शन with the same speed unless, what is unless? Unless is condition, जितनी देर तक एक्सटर्नल फोर्स उसके ऊपर अप्लाई करोगे. सो दिस इज द न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ मोशन. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डेफिनेशन. देन qualitative. Newton first law is a qualitative. 3 laws are there: first law, second law and third law. Make sure that first law is a qualitative, second law is a quantitative. Okay, make it sure that. So the definition of inertia. First of all, what is inertia? कोई बॉडी अपने आप खुद चेंज नहीं कर सकती, अपने आप मोशन में नहीं आ सकती, अपने आप रेस्ट में नहीं जा सकती. क्यों? ड्यू टू inertia. Newton's first law gives the definition according to which object cannot change its state. अपनी स्टेट को चेंज ऑब्जेक्ट खुद नहीं कर सकता by itself. If the object is at rest, it will remain at rest. If it is moving in some direction, it will continue moving in that direction, in that same direction. That is called as inertia. Okay, then inertia is the property. It is an inherent property. हर एक बॉडी की अपनी अपनी inherent property होती है. क्या होती है? By virtue of which it tends or to retain its state of rest or motion. That is called as inertia. So one question they can ask: name the inherent property of Newton's law. Then your answer will be inertia. Students, in the previous year, in the final ICSE 9th class board class, you know very well, in that only one words answers they have asked. No any definition, only one word. So read the chapter very carefully. Okay, all the, like, name the inherent property of the Newton's law, that is inertia. Then what is definition of force? Force क्या है? Force is that external cause, बाहरी प्रभाव है, which can move a stationary, जो stationary body को, जो रुकी हुई बॉडी है उसको मूव कर सकता है, या जो मोशन में बॉडी है उसको स्टॉप कर सकता है. ओके, दैट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ force. So force is that external cause which tends to change the state of rest or state of motion of an object. So what type of quantity is force? It is a vector quantity. This is also one question. And the sum of two equal and opposite force, अगर दो फोर्स इस साइड पे लग रहे हो, दो फोर्स उस साइड पे लग रहे हो, दोनों का सम क्या होगा? ज़ीरो, ऑलवेज बी ज़ीरो. देन मास क्या है? ग्रेटर द मास, जितना ज़्यादा किसी का मास होगा उतना ज़्यादा उसमें इनर्शिया होगा. वन एग्जांपल आई विल गिव यू. इफ़ one side cycle is coming, one side motorcycle is coming, both are on 20 speeds. Okay, so which is easy to control? Your answer is cycle. Why? Cycle has a less mass, whereas motorcycle has a more mass. So less the mass, less the inertia. More the mass or greater the mass, greater the inertia. So mass is a measure of inertia. So cricket ball, you know, it is massive than a tennis ball, so it is very difficult to control the cricket ball, okay, than a tennis ball, because cricket ball has a more inertia than a tennis ball. Okay, so then it is difficult to set a loaded trolley. जो loaded trolley है उसको control करना बहुत difficult होगा than a unloaded. You know that the tractor which is available in the tractor trolley which is loaded, so if the tractor is applying a brake, then after covering few distance only, the tractor stop because it has a inertia. So inertia are of two types. One is inertia of rest and second one is inertia of motion. What is inertia of rest? It will remain at a रेस्ट अनलेस एक्सटर्नल फोर्स इज अप्लाइड. जो बॉडी रेस्ट में रहे, जिसको जितना मर्जी उसके ऊपर फोर्स लगा दें, उसको बोलते हैं इनर्शिया ऑफ रेस्ट. सो दीज एग्जांपल्स, ऑल द आंसर्स, योर आंसर, रीजनेबल आंसर शुड बी दिस क्वेश्चन दैट इट इज़ ड्यू टू inertia of rest. You know that when the train suddenly start, all the passengers, those are standing or those are sitting, they lean backward. Why? Because their lower part is contact with the train, but the upper part is on the rest. That is due to inertia of rest. Second one is if you are on hanging, the carpet is beaten. You know, when you beating the carpet, then dust particles are falling out. Why? Because dust particles are at rest. When we beat, it comes on motion. So due to inertia of rest, it comes out. Okay, then all these examples you have to read carefully, because they can ask the questions why and on shaking the branches of tree the fruits fallen down. Then your answer should be, you will not get marks if you can write due to inertia of rest. So if you can write properly, then only you will get the marks. So read it properly. Then inertia of motion, then if the body is state of motion continuously, it is in the state of motion at some speed, then its body is in the inertia of motion. So if cyclist riding along with the level road, then does not come to the rest immediately after he stop paddling. Why? Because due to inertia of motion. So these all examples you can read and try to solve the exercise.